Hi, you guys. Sarah Vaccaro. I am going to talk to you today about self-abandonment. I imagine you can think about a time when you felt abandoned, whether it was from a family member, maybe a parent, maybe a teacher, a friend, whoever it was. I imagine you can go back in your mind and you can think about a time, a conscious time where you felt alone, you felt abandoned, you felt rejected, you felt that you weren't good enough. So that's really prevalent in our lives. It makes a big impact. But not only do we feel abandoned by other people, we feel abandoned by ourselves. So today we're going to be talking about self-abandonment and what it means, what it is, and how to stop abandoning yourself, because other people can leave us. And of course, we feel abandoned when that happens. But what about when you abandon and leave yourself? What's the impact of that? So if you are a person who has a hard time trusting themselves, you feel like you hide parts of yourself, your feelings, your beliefs, your ideas, and in order to fit in with others, you are a chameleon. You become whatever it is that you think that they want you to be. And you diminish or you discount your feelings because you really just think that they don't matter. All of that is what's known as self-abandonment. You abandon yourself when you don't value yourself and when you don't act in a way that owns your best interest, then you can't encourage and comfort yourself in the way that you need to. And you'll find that you never feel encouraged, you never feel comforted because others can't read your mind and they don't know how to do that for you. And it's all because you don't know or aren't doing it for yourself. And we're going to talk about examples of self-abandonment. And as we talk about these examples of self-abandonment, I want you to go through and see how many of these feel true to you. So if you're a person who doesn't trust your instincts, if you second guess yourself all the time, if you constantly have over ruminating, overthinking thoughts, and you let others make decisions for you and you assume that they know more than you do, then that's a form of self-abandonment. If you're a people pleaser, if you're always seeking validation from other people and you're suppressing your needs and your interests in order to please others, in order to fit in, belong, and be liked, and you just, I don't care, really, but you do care. You act as if doesn't matter to me. That's a form of people pleasing, which is a form of self-abandonment. Another form of self-abandonment is if you hide yourself from others, if you give up your interests, you give up your goals, and you don't share your feelings, you're just kind of there and you're hiding those parts of yourselves, maybe because of fear of judgment or what other people are going to say. This is really prevalent in high conflict, toxic relationships with narcissists. I noticed that I used to do this all the time. I felt like a little squirrel mouse in Cinderella that would just like hide in this hole and come out very rarely, only when I felt like it was safe. And I would quickly realize it wasn't safe and quickly retreat again. If you call yourself a perfectionist and you have this perfectionism, if you have unrealistically high expectations for yourself, you never feel worthy regardless of how much you do or what you accomplish. You can have the world's most phenomenal resume, but you still feel that you're not enough. This is a form of self-abandonment, self-criticism and judgment, saying hurtful and mean things to yourself when you don't meet those painfully high standards that you set for yourself. That's also another form of self-abandonment. Not honoring your needs, not recognizing that your needs are valid, and failing to practice self-care because you feel unworthy of self-care. So it's always on your mind that you should go to the gym or you should do this exercise or you should take this time to do this thing for yourself, even if it's only 15 minutes a day, but you don't because you feel unworthy of it. You feel guilty doing that. You feel like you're selfish if you do that. If you suppress your feelings and you push away uncomfortable feelings by denying them or by using mood altering substances to kind of numb out from this and avoid feeling those feelings, that's a form of self-abandonment. Not acting according to your values, like doing things that please other people, even if they go against your values and beliefs, and you're there and you just feel so off for being there, but then you also feel guilty for leaving. So you do things that don't act in accordance to your value. That's self-abandonment. Codependent relationships, but like I said, focusing on other people's needs, wants, and problems, all while neglecting yourself, filling everyone else's cup, but not feeling your own, not speaking up for yourself, not using your voice, not asking for what you need, and not setting or enforcing. Some people set boundaries, but then they don't enforce them. Let people walk all over you. Let people take advantage of you. That is a form of self-abandonment. So now let's get to why. Why do we abandon ourselves? Well, great question, right? Self abandonment actually begins very, very, very early on. It's a learned behavior. It's something that is learned in childhood. It's likely that your parents or other influential adults in your life did not meet your emotional needs, or perhaps your physical needs in childhood. The adults in your life when you were younger abandoned you emotionally or physically, which caused you to feel unworthy, caused you to feel unlovable. And as adults now, we realize I'm no longer a child, but you're still playing out these childlike patterns. You're still repeating these patterns from childhood because they're so ingrained in you. They're so familiar. You repeatedly choose partners, engage in relationships or friends who mistreat you, who take advantage of you, who don't support you. And then you do the same thing to yourself. So it's not just other people's fault, it's your fault as well. You do the same thing to yourself. You don't know how to be there for yourself because no one was truly there for you when you were growing up, when you were a child. It was never modeled, it was never shown to you, it was never taught to you how to care for yourself. So self abandonment is a learned behavior. It's a way that you tried to cope with unhealthy or dysfunctional family dynamics and relationships. Children depend on adults to meet their emotional and physical needs. But when you're a child and you live in an unpredictable, chaotic, or very high conflict or abusive family, you learn to hide your true self. You learn it's not safe to express your true self or be your true self. So you begin to become a chameleon and you morph into whatever role will keep the peace and will help you avoid ridicule, avoid put downs, avoid physical pain, avoid emotional pain. And you learn to suppress your feelings and your needs. And you learn that your worth depends on what you accomplish or what you do. And you also learn that whatever you do is never enough, that your needs, your interests, your goals don't matter, and that you don't deserve love and compassion. Yeah, that's the thing you want and need the most. So self abandonment is a destructive pattern that can contribute to lots of detrimental things. It contributes to anxiety, it contributes to depression, low self-esteem, engaging, staying in unfulfilling relationships. Abandoning yourself when you were younger and a child may have been a necessity during childhood. But it isn't helpful anymore now that you're no longer a child, now that you're an adult. And chances are, maybe you're raising a child yourself. So let's look at things that you can do to begin to trust and value yourself again. Um, so this next part of this video is going to be information on how to stop abandoning yourself. So ways to stop abandoning yourself. The most important relationship you'll ever have in life is the relationship that you have with yourself, because no matter what happens, you are always with yourself. Wherever you go, there you are. So you need to be able to rely on yourself. Yes, you need to be able to rely on others, not in the form of codependent relationships, but your relationship with yourself becomes the foundation and the template for all other relationships that you form. You want to be in a loving, healthy relationship with someone else, you've got to be in a loving, healthy relationship with yourself. So, as such, you need to cultivate a loving relationship with yourself, but most of us are not taught how to do that. And you need to begin to practice doing that, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when you're not entirely sure how to do it. You just need to start and begin showing up for yourselves. And it's not a race, it's a journey. It just takes continuous practice and action to learn how to apply these things to yourself and freely open up and express yourself. You're not going to feel safe to just open up overnight, but recognizing that you are enough. You are worthy, and stop abandoning yourself and begin to cultivate and create a new loving relationship with yourself. And some ways that you can do that. The first one is allow yourself to have feelings. The feeling that cannot express itself in tears will cause other organs to weep. So you may see and identify that you have severe physical and health issues now if you haven't ever allowed yourself to feel. Everyone, we are human beings, we're emotional creatures. Everyone has feelings, everyone has needs. Some people are far better, well, far more practiced in suppressing and depressing them or numbing those than others. And if you were someone who wasn't allowed to express feelings in a safe way as a child or allowed to express them at all, you can now have a safe haven for your own feelings and your own needs. If you listen to your feelings, they will tell you what you want, what you need, and where those needs, desires are not being met, where those voids are. And if you fill those voids in a healthy way, you'll be much happier, much healthier. So when you begin to practice identifying your feelings throughout the day, you can say things like, I feel stressed. I feel anxious. I feel worried. And ask yourself, what do I need right now? Maybe you need a break. Maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to call a friend. Maybe you need to journal. Maybe you need to throw on a quick meditation. Maybe you need to just step away and then come back instead of stay in it and push through it. So asking yourself, what do I need? Identify those feeling words, print out a feeling chart and look at them because you may not even know what it is that you feel. So maybe having those words in front of you can help you pinpoint, point to, and identify. The objective is to stay present, especially with those difficult feelings, the ones that you are familiar with avoiding, rather than abandoning yourself when you feel overwhelmed. Meditation is a powerful tool that can help you cultivate acceptance and tolerance of your feelings. You may notice your mind wandering during meditation, but that's okay. There's lots of different apps that are guided meditations that can help you through that. Then being authentic. Try and practice not hiding parts of yourself out of fear or disapproval or judgment, and take it slowly. Not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay, especially when you begin to set boundaries and implement the consequences. But you'll notice you begin to shrink and you begin to change and please others. When you notice that feeling, that's where to spend the time. Express who you are through different things like creative outlets like art or painting or dancing, your hairstyle, your clothes, your hobbies, your interests, your passions, whatever it is. Start to spend more time and energy in those and less time and energy in the things that make you feel drained, overwhelmed, and bad. And watch the real you begin to show and bloom. When you commit to this time to rediscovering who you are, what you like, and what matters to you, then practicing self-compassion. When I get really overwhelmed and anxious, sometimes I even do this in the bathroom. I'll go and hide and I'll put my hand over my heart because I can feel it pounding, and I'll practice taking deep belly breaths. A lot of us do chest breathing. We breathe from like here to here, especially when we start to feel anxiety or panic. So put your hands on your heart or your belly. Put your hands on your belly and practice breathing in so deeply that your hands move and expand with that breath that fills up your belly. Everyone deserves comfort when they're suffering. I also use a weighted blanket. So I will get in bed and I will put the weighted blanket over me and just feel that pressure and feel that. You realize that maybe you do this for others. So practice the support and the advice that you give to others, write it down, ask them, tell them about it. And most likely, because you've given that advice to them so easily and freely, they will give it back to you in return, and then actually practice it instead of just saying it. So these are the basics of self-compassion. When you notice you're abandoning yourself, is noticing. The first step is awareness. Notice when you're struggling. Notice the sensations, the feelings in your body, the muscle tension, the aches, the pain, the rapid heart rate, the the sweaty palms, the shallowness of your breathing, that'll help you notice when you're experiencing disappointment, loss, a hard time, anxiety, panic, and then recognizing that you're not alone. Everyone suffers. Everyone has difficulties. Everyone makes mistakes. So the very fact that you feel like this means that you're not alone, that you are just like everybody else. And when you do this, when you recognize and become aware of this, you realize I'm just like everyone else. And you begin to feel more connected to others through your struggles rather than isolated and inadequate because of them. Then mindfulness of your negative feelings, write them down, become aware of them, and look at them. Try and look at them without judgment. I know this may be difficult, but when you give them space and you don't let them define you, and you just say, I feel, not I am. I feel anxious, not I am anxious. I feel sad instead of I am depressed. Then you can look at them with more space. So, try and do these things when you're feeling like you're abandoning yourself in order to comfort yourself. Then, stand up for yourself. Standing up for yourself with people who give you space. Another important aspect of self-care, self-love is standing up for yourself and being assertive. Maybe taking small steps and taking ownership for how you feel, responsibility for how you feel, instead of saying, you make me feel, and you always say, I feel afraid, because that's a practice of standing up for yourself and being assertive. And that is a practice of setting a boundary. The alternative is what you've probably already done, letting people walk all over you, and being afraid that if you don't let them walk all over you, then they will leave you and they'll abandon you, and then you'll be alone forever. Most likely you're thinking, well, other people's needs matter more than mine. And because of that belief and that thought, you're accepting disrespect, you're accepting invalidation and blame, because you don't think that you're worthy of anything better. And having those thoughts, those internal beliefs, those self-beliefs, are the foundation of really unhealthy relationships. So I hope that this helps you begin to take practice, take action, and starting to show up for yourself, listening to what your body is feeling, listening to what your body is telling you, and giving you encouragement to begin to practice self-care, doing for you what feels right, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if you feel like others will disapprove of it in the beginning. So either way, I hope this encourages you to just begin to put one step in front of the other, to set boundaries for yourself without feeling guilty. It doesn't matter where you're at or where you begin, just taking one small step to value yourself today and every day, giving yourself even 10 minutes of compassion. I found that the best time to do this is in the morning, because that sets the tone for the rest of your day. So whether it's journaling, meditation, reading your affirmations, but remember that your mind will only let those in if it really believes them to be true. So if you are at a place where you're beginning to do this work, but you're still stuck, you still feel like you're hitting your head against a wall and you're frustrated with it, then let's connect, let's talk more. When you're at that point, that's really where the power of your inner mind, your subconscious mind, can rip out those old limiting negative beliefs and have space to install new, powerful, positive ones, and get rid of all those negative sensations and those internal beliefs that are causing you to still do all these self-abandoning behaviors, and really allow you to show up for yourself in a powerful, positive way so that you can live a happy life, a life free from all this stuff. So if you'd like to talk more about hypnosis and RTT, just click on the link in the comments below this video and it will take you to my website. We can connect and talk more about this one-on-one. But otherwise, I hope that this really helps you understand more about self-abandonment and gives you some tools, tips, and exercises on what to do to stop self-abandoning and start self-caring.